Welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to talk about getting out of debt and raising that credit score. Are you ready? I'm Kiana Robinson, and welcome back to my channel. I am the founder of Uplifting Legacy, where I help people get unstuck and stop living the paycheck to paycheck life and build wealth and legacy. So today we're talking about getting out of debt. So I shared my story in a previous video about me being a single mom and in debt, and I just was frustrated and drowning in all type of debt. And with the grace of God and education, um, going back to school and watching and listening to finance experts and reading, I raised my credit score over 800, which it has maintained, and I got out of debt. So I help others to do the same. So today, let's talk about it. How did I do that? How have I helped clients to do that as well? So one, it definitely takes your mindset shift. You got to change your mindset and how you think about money, and changing that from I'm just spending this money because it's coming in to I have to have a plan and be a good steward of my money. So I had to do that for myself and to say, okay, it's time to buckle down, because with the economy, with things that's happening, uh, with how things are so high at the grocery store, everything is just expensive. So it's time for me to buckle down. So I had to have a plan. That was two. I had to have a budget, which is your plan. It's just a plan for your money. Don't be scared of the budget. I talked about the budget as well. So don't be scared, because it's a way to give you that freedom. It's a way to make your money stretch. So that is the second thing is I plan out my budget. And you can check out the previous video to see exactly how that works. So I changed my mindset. I set some goals, and I made a plan, which identified everything in my list that I'm spending before I got paid. That's so key. That is so key. Before you get paid, you want to plan for your money, and every dollar should have a name. That is one thing that kept me on track, kept me being consistent, and it kept me from not straying off to do something else that I shouldn't be doing with my money. And it helped me to tackle those bills that I owe and that debt that I owe. And so I needed to make a plan, list out all of my expenses in a budget. And then also I had to have a strategy for my debt. And in the strategy, you can use different strategies, but what worked for me was the debt snowball. And I'm going to talk about that as well in another video. But the gist of it is that you list your income, your debt, and then you list it from the smallest balance to the largest balance. And you start tackling that smallest balance first. You pay the minimum on everything else and tackle that smallest with everything you got so that you can get that done. And then you take that money from the smallest balance and it rolls up to the next balance. And so then builds that traction, and then that's paying off the debt. It's going to take some time. It took time to get into it. It's going to take time to get out of it. So, but it's taking that traction of that snowball effect where you're paying off the first debt, you're taking all that, you're rolling it to the next, and then you're rolling it to the next. So that is called the debt snowball. That is what I use. And so you use the debt, you start paying off that debt. As you're paying off that debt, and as you're paying bills on time, another key aspect to getting out of debt and raising your credit score is pay it on time, if at all possible. Even if it's the minimum balance that you're paying, pay it before it's due. Before it's due, because every time you don't, it's putting those dings on your credit. So pay it on time and have your strategy for paying it on time. Another key thing that I did is I made sure to communicate with my debtors, the people at the companies. I called them and I'm like, okay, I have this situation. I'm trying to get you guys paid off. So is there anything you can do to help me? Sometimes there were options, sometimes there were not. So lowering an interest rate or a balance transfer or, giving you a little more extra time, or some options. Or if you come into a lump sum of money, you can try to make a settlement plan. So you can offer them 60% on what you owe or 50% on what you owe, and then ask them to take this as a settlement. But before you pay that money to settle that, make sure you get it in writing. Make sure you get it in writing from that company that they're telling you, okay, we'll accept this payment to pay it off in full, pay my balance off in full. And you get that in writing before you send the money off, because you don't want to send that money and then they're like, oh no, well, we can't do that. We have to accept, all, 100%. So I stayed in communication with the companies that I owed, had conversations with them, seeing if there's anything I can do, and help. It helped me to follow my debt progression, to pay off that debt. So then also, we also wanted to make sure that you are consistent. You're staying consistent in what you're doing. You're making payments. You're doing the debt snowball. You're in communication with the companies. So as long as you're in consistency, you're doing everything in that order, you're going to pay off the debt and you're going to raise your credit score. So that's what I did. And it continuously stays over the 800 mark. And it's because of that. Just keeping your balances low. Of course, you got to watch that debt to income ratio. So you don't want to have 30% of a card spent. So you want to make sure you stay under that 30% in your balance, if at all possible, because that affects your credit as well. So we're going to talk further about debt and credit all on this channel. Ask questions. I'll engage in the comments. You can check out my link below to get the workbook that will help guide you through this journey, that has debt trackers in it, has budget check expenses in there, sheets, goal setting, vision statements. So wills and debt, it talks about trust, wills, and investing. So check out the workbook. And also, excuse me, also there is a free 60-day savings challenge in there. So get that at the link below too. Also, I'll be offering one-on-one sessions. So that's how I meet with my clients. And I was going to be limited to only a handful of people at first, because, I want to spend that time and have the time to meet with people. So it's going to be limited at first. But when you click the link, you'll be able to see that you can make an appointment to schedule one-on-one meetings with me. So that is how I got out of debt, and I'm helping clients to get out of debt, raise their credit score. It's a strategy. It's a whole system and strategy to it. But we can do it. Let's do it. So have a blessed day, and let's stay consistent. Thank you.